my well-being is about balance. It's about trying to face things head on in your life that are sort of stopping you from getting to where you want to be. The reality of things and emotions, I think, is that they're all there and meant to be felt. And so when they come up, I feel like you should just own, like, okay, I'm going to be in this spot and I won't always be in this spot. Sort of like how I do with like anxiety. When it kicks in and you're just like in this tunnel mode and you're like, oh shit, like, how do I even get out of this? But you just have to sit with yourself and just know, like, I will change. I will get out of this mindset. Before shows, I want to try to start meditating. Do that 20 minutes by myself before we go on, because you get the high off it. It's like wanting to bring that high into going on stage. And that's one of the things I'm going to start doing instead of, drinking's fun, but is drinking and playing actually helping me put on a better show? No. Or like just perform better? No.
Welcome to the Collaborative Resource Hub by Wellness Provisions. We're bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. I'm Amy McBride, owner of Wellness Provisions, the most badass wellness business. Hey, are you feeling a little stuck in life? I offer wellness coaching sessions. Book a session with me if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead. Sessions are available worldwide. And check this out. Wellness Provisions supplies rock and rollers with high-quality supplements. We've simplified your shopping experience and given you a trustworthy place to go where you can essentially shop blindfolded. And did you know all our Collaborative Resource Hub interviews air on YouTube as well as all major podcast platforms? Subscribe to stay in the loop. Go immerse yourself in the full Collaborative Resource Hub experience over on our website. You'll have access to helpful resources that will inspire and educate you. So let's inspire each other. If that guy did it, so can you. Last but not least, my legal disclaimer. Nothing in this interview or the Collaborative Resource Hub substitutes medical advice. Please connect with your GP if you need medical guidance. Tristan from Decent Criminal, how are you? Thank you for being here.
Amy, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So you are the singer, songwriter, and guitar player for your group. How is that? Do you like doing all those things?
I do like doing all those things. Our other guitar player, Brian, also writes songs and sings. But yeah, I do love it. It's a passion of mine, always has been.
Cool. If you had to describe your group to someone who hasn't heard you guys before, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as a big old mishmash of everything I've loved in my life. Besides like reggae or ska, I don't do any of that. Yeah. But I do love some, old reggae and ska. I love a ton for sure. But yeah, I don't know. There's like some 90s alternative influences. There's harmonies. There's like whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of garagey, kind of punk,
kind of garage. There's punk in there. There's for sure.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. That's how.
I think I think good music is good music, right? So exactly. That's it.
So all right, changing gears. Mm-hmm. What does well-being mean to you?
Well-being means to me, I think my well-being is about balance. It's about trying to kind of face things head on in your life that are sort of stopping you from getting to where you want to be. Or not stopping you, but just things you have to work through to sort of be the person that you want to be. And that could be anything from, your physical appearance, or not really your appearance, but like your diet, your just healthy habits, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So do you like to have a positive perspective? Is that something that you're consciously, aware of?
Yeah, I think there's room for everything in there. I think that's, the reality of things and emotions, I think, is that they're all there and meant to be felt. And so when they come up, I feel like you should just, own, like, okay, I'm going to be in this spot and I won't always be in this spot. Sort of like how I do with like anxiety. It's like, it's when it kicks in and you're just like in this tunnel mode and you're like, oh shit, like, how do I even get out of this? But you just have to sit with yourself and just know, like, I will change. I will get out of this mindset.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think, I don't think like, oh, like let's just be positive all the time, which is whatever you want to do. I just think it's unrealistic. Let's just, embrace all emotions and all things as they come up. And I think that's so finding that balance is good.
Yeah, I agree. Like positivity is important, but it can be taken to an extreme where
Sure.
you're suppressing and just sort of like denying any kind of negative feeling, which are the feelings that will push you to grow.
Oh, 100%. Well, they're all there to help you grow. And I think it's just embracing those positive feelings and just, it's like you can get to that euphoric place that, people use like drugs or alcohol or sex or whatever the fuck to get to, like, to get to these like euphoric places, but like you can find those things in yourself. And I think that's just important to remember, and letting go of things and moving forward. And but I think about like our music too. It's like where I can find like all that peaceful, just find those like places that I love and those things that I love about myself, and like try to like, live in that. But I also like can channel, I have songs where I'm just like screaming. Our music has like levels of like, all sides of the spectrum of like
Yeah.
anger. And it's about channeling those things. And like I can channel those things when I want to. And that's like a part of our music too.
So have you always, I guess, valued that kind of balance, or is it something that you've sort of learned, I guess, just as you've gotten older?
I think I've achieved like more self-awareness as I've gotten older. Whereas you might have been running on, I think especially like growing up, like being a teenager, like even like my early like 20s too, you're just like everything's just like and it's not like until I think I quit drinking for like 3 years when I was 25, and that was like just a big change for me. It was like, yeah, it just helped me kind of just become. I had to like I got out of like a 5-6 year relationship too, and I just had to like kind of rediscover myself like from like 25 to 28, and just sort of like, who the fuck am I, and like what am I doing, and what do I like, what do I like about myself, what do I, so I think in that I became a lot more self-aware and was able to slow my life down, and have people in it that I wanted to have in it, and be the person that I wanted to be more.
That's awesome. Was
Mhm.
there anything that like you did, I guess, like did you get into meditating, or was there something or like journaling more or anything that kind of like helped like really like
Um,
clarify those kind of
me-
thoughts?
Meditation for me came in the last like couple years. I think I just like always felt like I couldn't sit still and do it, But my sister recommended this woman, Tara Brock is her name. She has like these cool like guided meditations on like YouTube and everything. And so I started doing those, and those like 20 minutes. And then I've done some like longer. I've done like shifting meditations or stuff like that. I haven't gotten to a point yet where I'm just meditating on my own. I kind of like the guided ones.
Uh-huh.
I try to do that. I probably meditate like maybe 5-6 times a week.
That's
Should
awesome.
probably, yeah, I should probably do it more than that. But
I just think it's interesting being, mid to late 20s and then really like
oh,
basically
right.
going into like a 2.0 version of yourself.
Oh,
Like
100%.
what,
Yeah.
yeah, like what inspired you to like generate those questions, or was there, like if there was any like outside kind of influence, or you were just like, I
Um,
gotta inventory
I
my shit.
I think it took me being really embarrassed by my actions when I was around 25. Just like, I from the time I was like 15 to 25, I drank probably 5-6 days a week and heavily. I've always like, had issues with alcohol and stuff like that. I was just like losing friends. I was losing people in my life that I loved, and just sort of fucking up things that that I loved. And you get to a point you're just like, yeah, you just know you're better than that. I think I kind of knew I was like better than what I was doing anyways at the time. And then it just takes like losing things sometimes to sort of, or just feeling like you lost yourself, sort of. You're just like so depressed and unhappy. And so, yeah, it took me those 3 years to sort of, then get out of a relationship that I was in that was like no longer helping me, or we weren't helping each other anymore. So it's just just sort of revamping everything. And so my motivation was just knowing that I was better than that. you know that I
Yeah.
wasn't being the person that I knew that I was. And so it was important for me to do it for myself. And and I think it's cool, you sort of can motivate other people too. I had people tell me that they were like motivated by that. I just come from like such a, just growing up, just the atmosphere of like partying, and you want to grow up really fast. And I have 3 older siblings, and it's just funny how like you like grow up, and it wasn't until like I started doing like therapy and stuff like that where like you think about, why did I grow up in this, why did I gravitate through this environment of just like constant like escapism. And it's just sort of like starting to, like, there's a lot of things I feel like I didn't deal with growing up that I started to deal with at 25, and that I dealt with, and I was having conversations with my parents that I'd never had before, being really honest. So yeah, it's just all those motivations of just like, like, I'm better than this, I can do better than this, and that's what I'm going to do.
Self-worth, man. It's pretty great.
Yeah, to go from not liking to not enjoying your days and to loving yourself is pretty nice.
Do you ever, or have you ever done like affirmations, or just, having like a mantra kind of?
No, I've like written letters to myself before, or I've always told myself with like lyrics that if I ever like am lying to myself, that you've like officially not sold out, but you know what I mean, in that way you've sold out on yourself.
Yeah.
If you've like, if you're not being honest with yourself, or if I'm doing music to like become more popular, or doing something that isn't like organic or like whatever, authentic to myself, that's just all I really know. It's just like not like affirmations, but just more of like, what to do, be yourself, do that.
Yeah, because I mean, because a lot of people, realizing, I guess, accepting and realizing their self-worth, and then sometimes like affirmations, just sort of like having that, like basically positively brainwashing yourself that like
Sure.
you're all of these awesome things, and that kind of helps. I didn't know if you dabbled in that at all.
I definitely support it. I think anyone that, I don't think there's any harm in that at all. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And whatever gets you to recognize the beauty in yourself or your potential as a person, it's great.
When you did therapy, which you mentioned, is there anything, like any awesome thing that you learned in therapy that changed you a significant amount?
I didn't really learn this in therapy. Therapy was super helpful for sure, but more of like when you're experiencing like that hyperactive sort of all-consuming anxiety, and you're like feeling just sort of you can't escape it. It's just like that endless fucking cycle that happens. Just more so of like thinking about like the way you're feeling as opposed to like what you're thinking about. It's sort of like the technique that I've learned the last like year or so. It's just like, and I've actually been able to escape that anxiety that way, where like you, instead of like playing it over and over in your head, you're just sort of like, oh, like this is an interesting feeling. And then, it sort of like can even take it down to like how you're feeling, like physically, like my hand against my knee, just like kind of let it run through you, like let it do its thing, but also like you don't have to be that, you can sort of work your way through that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, because I learned actually in a therapy session I had ages ago, was like, if you're kind of feeling like you're starting to spiral or just get consumed by like anxiety. So the same thing, it's like, okay, my feet are on the floor, I can feel, this, or like you observe something in the room, like there's, a yellow chair over there, which nobody can see, but there is. So it's like,
Sure.
and then so it seems like a similar of,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And of course there's like other times where it's like, or I've been, super anxious, and I'll try to like meditate in like 5 minutes, and you're just like, fuck this. I'm out. But yeah, essentially that's it, so sort of like taking your focus on more like, how am I feeling, as opposed to what am I feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of can bring you down, and like, oh, like I'm not so lost in that anymore.
Yeah, it creates a separation, I guess.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you ever find exercising, or if you can, like, depending on if whenever your anxiety might get kind of like bad, if like leaving the room or leaving the house or whatever, if that kind of helps to change the energy?
100%. Yeah. In times of anxiety or in times, any time at all. I mean, I've always been really into walking. I walk on average like 5 miles a day.
Oh my
My phone
gosh.
tells me. Yeah. I did like 11 miles yesterday. I think what I think about with like walking, and I mean, I don't do it like just if I'm feeling anxious or like whatever. I do it whenever because it feels good. And I don't know. I just can always remind myself that however I'm feeling like before I start moving, by the time I'm done, by the time I get back, I will be in like a different place. So it's sort of like the same thing like we talked about with anxiety, where it's like, okay, like I'm here now. I can escape this and I will. And this helps. So I think it's like knowing what gets you, what brings you those like those good feelings and what kind of changes things for you. So it's like walking for me, playing music, it's like those natural highs. I'll just go to the studio and we have like this like Christmas lights and there's like stars on the ceiling or whatever. And I'll just like kind of go and you can kind of get lost just playing. I just like record on my phone and I'll just like strum and sing along and you're just like sitting there in the dark by yourself and you're just like playing and so it's like those highs that like kind of remind you of like why you love what you're doing. It's like walking, playing music, writing songs. When you come up with something that you love or you word something perfectly, for me, like when I'm writing, it's like fucking yeah, you like can like live off that for like a week or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for a time,
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's like it takes me like I remember being like 13 years old or whatever, and you're like up in your room, just like cranking your little fucking amp up by yourself, and you're just like fucking going for it and singing and doing whatever and doing your thing. But it's like it's no different for me at 32 than it was at 13. And that feeling I think is, it's beautiful to still feel that way. And just to know what gets me through those like times that aren't feeling so good.
Mhm. Yeah. Here's an advert in less than 20 seconds. Did you know that Wellness Provisions offers one-on-one wellness sessions? Yep. So if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead in life, but feeling a little stuck, then book a session and let's get you unstuck. Now back to the interview. Do you get like a lot of inspiration, like, so when you're walking, or like, is there any
Oh
other,
yeah.
like, what about, this has come up a couple times. What about brushing your teeth? Do you ever get like ideas when you brush your teeth or like take a shower or anything?
Shower for sure. Especially over quarantine, I became like overindulgent with showers. Like I think I used to take like a 2-minute shower. It used to be like really more about like it's not like wastewater. It's like, whatever. But then I started taking like 10, 15-minute showers during quarantine. It's like, oh dude, it feels so good.
Do you
Or
ever
like,
do you ever take a shower, like turn all the lights out? Or maybe because like I have
oh
a
yeah.
nightlight in my bathroom. I'll turn the lights out so there's a little bit of a glow, and then I'll put on like really like relaxing, kind of like meditation music.
Oh cool.
Yeah, that's super chill.
Yeah. I did that. I do that pretty often. Or if I like, came home from a walk and it's like 9:30 or something, and when I shower, I'll like turn the light off and just like use like the street light that kind of shines in, and you know, and then you just kind of it's just feels good. I don't know, something about the darkness,
Yeah, it's so
just
chill.
calming.
But so you do get some like creativity, like when you take a shower.
Yeah, it was just like humming things, or like if I was like writing something before I got in there, then I'll like have a line that comes to me in the shower. If I'm brushing my teeth is more I'm thinking about how I need to like floss. Like floss more.
Yeah.
I started flossing in the shower. That was my trick I picked up in the last
Like with
couple
dental
years.
floss, or like the dental pick thing? Because I feel like
No,
with
yeah,
floss
yeah.
would lose grip.
No. So, like, I think my roommate when I was living in LA, he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, just like just keep your just keep floss in the shower because that way, like, if you don't want to get out of the shower, you'll just stay in there longer." So whatever. So to get myself to floss more, I started just like flossing in the shower, because then it's like an extra like what 2 minutes of sitting in there.
Yeah. And you're in there anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I
Right.
think, but yeah, a lot of inspiration does come when I'm like walking. Like I write lyrics, or I often like listen to like our demos or like whatever we're doing, or like jam sessions that Hunter and I have. Then a lot of times when I'm walking too, I'll just write poems. I'm not like have anything in mind. I'm just sort of, when I write poems, it's more of like just a stream of consciousness, just like whatever comes out when it feels done, or whenever it feels like I'm forcing something is when I stop. So even when I play guitar too, like I just, yeah, as soon as it feels like I'm trying to force something, that's when I'm like, then it's all gonna be crap.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. I mean, that you noticed that and then just sort of like, all right, like this is no longer an organic unfolding, thing anymore.
Right. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, that's what one of the things my therapist talked to me about, because one of the things I was talking to her about was just feeling like I was like regurgitating things that I'd heard too often, and where it became blatantly obvious like where I'm like nicking things from other songs in my songs. And so she told me just record everything that you play. So every time I play guitar now, I press record on my phone, and then just like let it go, and just and just keep playing, because eventually, even if you're thinking about it too much, after like maybe 5 minutes, you're not thinking about it anymore. So so then you're in
Yeah.
the flow of just like going and going and going, and then yeah, once you feel like you've exhausted that creative moment, then you can kind of like move on from it.
That makes sense though, because it's like, and like just work through it, just get it out and then just keep going.
Totally. My new thoughts is before shows, I want to try to start meditating. Do that 20 minutes by myself in the van or whatever before we go on, because I did one before we did this interview for that reason, because I know I'm recording something and it's like I want to, I don't know, just that calm of just like, I don't know, it's funny because I feel like it takes a little bit of time to like get to that place with meditation where you actually do, you get the high off it. It's like wanting to bring that high into this interview. It's wanting to bring that high into like going on stage. And so that's one of the things I'm going to start doing, instead of like, you know, drinking's fun, but is drinking and playing actually helping me, put on a better show? No. Or like just perform better? No. So that's going to be my new thing. Like, not that I'm going to put any like limits on myself, but I feel like having a few drinks. But yeah, that's just what I want to do.
Um, do you notice a difference like when you're meditating, if you start your session, if you will, with the expectation of like, I'm going to be really calm, this is going to really relax me, versus like, okay, I'm here and I'm starting. You know what I mean? Like, do you notice a difference? Or do you just show up and
Yeah,
be like, I'm here?
I think it's about like, yeah, you don't want to have the expectation, because then you're going to be like, oh no. But I think, yeah, it's when you just let yourself just be there and try to be present with it. And that's sort of the thing part of meditation too is, right, it's just letting things pass and letting thoughts come and go, and just trying to focus on, your presence there. But I think it sucks when you know that you're not getting the high that you get sometimes, because sometimes there is the high that you get where, or most of the time, you get that high and that's what you want to achieve. You're just like, oh shit, like you actually feel calm. You feel there's like a euphoric
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
thing going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some where I kind of feel like I get that sort of like, I guess you could say like a floating kind of feeling where you just feel super chill and just separate from everything. And then there's
100%.
some where I'm just like, you know, not that at all.
Right. Totally. But it's like you could be doing your favorite thing in the world, but if you've got something that's just bugging the shit out of you, you're just like, oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
What a
so
life.
what does like healthy eating look like to you? Do you care about food?
Um, yeah, I definitely care about food for sure. So I've probably been either vegan or vegetarian for like 8 years of my life. I feel like being vegan is like, I don't think you can really argue with it. I feel like it's just like that's the best way to go, just for multiple reasons. But I decided that I didn't want to have any like restrictions on myself. So if I wanted to eat something, or I did this trip to Spain I think like 5 years ago or so. And I'd been like not drinking and vegan and like strict on myself about all this shit. And I was just like, well, I want to like go try stuff. I want to go like,
Yeah.
So I think it's like, so when I'm like grocery shopping or something, I typically don't buy meat. I typically don't buy dairy products. So yeah, I just try to eat vegan for the most part. And then I just kind of see those other things like, cheese or meat as like indulgent. So if I do feel like doing that, I do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think my diet is probably like 70 to 80% like plant-based.
Cool. So do you actually eat a lot of fruits and vegetables then?
100%. Yeah.
Good answer. You passed.
Yeah. Hunter and I live together, and we're big on smoothies. And I don't know. Yeah, yes, I do. Fruits and vegetables.
So what's your favorite smoothie combination as of lately?
Smoothies, it's like I'm not really going for taste much these days, so it sounds kind of brutal. But for the most part, it's just like mix like power greens or like spinach, and just do a ton in there. Do a banana. I'll do like some mixed berries or like blueberries, a little bit of almond butter, almond milk, and water. So that's it. I mean, so it's just kind of, then I'll drink it down like maybe three gulps.
Yeah.
Just take it down. So it's not really like like the best tasting thing ever. Like, it's just not really what I'm going for. Just like in the morning, just
Yeah.
get as much greens and shit going on. Cause you kind of like get that buzz going from it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, typically I'll do that. Yeah, that's my morning routine on a typical day here.
I love it. Yeah, I love people that just go for the nutrients, just being super nutrient dense and are like, I don't care what it tastes like. It's the nutrients. I love that.
Yeah. I just when I go on walks too, I'll go to like a place where you ever have like those suja drinks.
Yeah.
I think it's suja. Yeah, so I'll buy like 2 of those, right? If I go on a walk, and I'll do like one that just tastes like absolute shit, like the worst one, and then I'll like, drink that real quick, and then drink like the one that tastes a little better.
I like that system. That's a good system.
Yeah, and I don't mind putting myself through things like that, so I'll just go for it.
Do you have anything that you do like on a regular basis for just kind of staying balanced and self-care? I mean, aside from your meditating, and walks, is there anything else that you incorporate?
I have a couple people in my life that I keep pretty close with. My friend from Minneapolis, we don't see each other that much, but she and I we've kept in touch for like years. Like since I met her on tour, and then we just stayed friends. So her and I talk 4 times a week, and like Hunter and I are, brothers and close as you can be. So yeah, I think having people in your life that you can talk to about things you're going through is important too.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know what I enjoy, and I know what makes me feel good, and as comfortable as I am traveling and getting myself into like new experiences that I do. Like I also like my home life is pretty simple in a way where it's like I know what kind of exercises I like. I know like the people I'd spend time with and things I like to do. So it's not like I do like a ton of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, outside of like walking, music, writing, yeah, just having people that you can be close to and open with and vulnerable. And those 2 people for me are really close. I have a really good relationship with my mom as well. She and I talk pretty often, and it's kind of cool. Since we've gotten older, it's like I said earlier, I think I said that, but there's we have Hunter and I have 3 older siblings than ourselves, so there's 5 of us, and it's been cool as we've gotten older to sort of, our family like growing up was so all over the place, and it's like a 10-year age gap between the youngest and the oldest. So,
Wow.
People are doing different stuff all the time, moving out. So it's like a cool thing for me. It's been like establishing relationships with my siblings that are like at an adult level now, where we're just like honest with each other and open. And so yeah, some of my best friends now too are just like my family, where it's my other brother Alex and I talk a lot. My sister Tara and I talk pretty often, and it's cool. But when you can have like a 2-hour conversation with somebody that is honest and real, I think that's really important to have.
Yeah, it's not to be undervalued or whatever, like, because so much, I mean, community is huge. Having people in real life, as opposed to like social media kind of connections, like that's so important. And then also so many people, even as they get older, they still just hate their family. Like there's just so much, just clashing. So that's awesome
Sure.
that you have that bond with them. That's super rad.
Right. I think it's really important for sure. And
Yeah.
it's cool to sort of, because you have that common place with your family and you have, you came from the same place. There's an understanding there and an appreciation that's outside of whatever you do, whatever else you do in your life. We all do different things. Hunter and I play music and, we might talk about that for like a little bit, but for the most part, we're just, digging into other aspects of ourselves that we're working on or things going on in our lives. So
That's awesome. That's good. Um, do you have a quote that you like a lot that you want to share?
yeah, I almost led into it just now. Quote I had is the most essential thing in life is to establish a heartfelt communication with others.
Yeah, and it's perfect with what you're saying, like with your family and
I
stuff.
know it almost transitioned right into it on accident there.
Yeah. How long
Yeah.
has that quote been something like meaningful to you?
I just heard it the other day.
Oh, well, great. So we
So
got like at least a few days with it.
yeah. So when I saw that question come up, I was like, I don't know about that one. That was nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the tagline for my business is delay dying. And
Mhm.
so I like to ask people if you had any tips or advice to give someone on how to delay dying, or in other words, live happier and healthier, what would it be?
Delay dying. Use your intuition. If something doesn't feel right, get the hell out of there. And chances are you're not going to die.
Perfect.
There you go.
I love it. Do you guys have anything cool coming up or coming out that you want to share on?
So we put a 7-inch out in like March of this year. So it's kind of cool. We're starting to play shows again, so we get to play all those new songs and stuff like that. We just finished making a record, or it's not finished yet. I'm gonna tweak on it for like the next month. But so we're excited to put another record out. We have a show in November with Lagwagon. We're looking forward to.
Cool.
We have a bunch of tour plans coming up for like early next year and a bunch of stuff. So we're gonna be busy.
Awesome. And I'll
Yeah.
put links to your everything here with this video so people can follow the breadcrumbs to get to all of that stuff.
Cool. Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for being here and chatting and, hanging out.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Hopefully,
it.
hopefully we did a good job. I think we did all right.
Yeah, you shared good stuff, and I like a lot your just the connection that you have like with your friend
Mhm.
and your brother and your family. That's important, and you have that, and that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Thank you. I think it's also, it's nice when things come out of your mouth too, and they kind of remind you. So even like saying that reminds you, like, oh, like that is sweet to have in my life. Right on.
All right, well, have a good rest of your day.
Right on.